Hope you have found this video useful. The best way to support the channel and ensure you don't miss our next upload is to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Part 38.18 Surah Saad, the letter Saad, the universal reminder, the finality of truth. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad, Syed, your sanctuary for the deep intellectual and metaphysical excavation of the Holy Quran. In our previous session, we witnessed the conclusion of the celestial drama, the vow of Iblis to mislead, and the divine promise to fill hell with the arrogant. We analyzed the shield of the Muqlesin, the sincere and the absolute sovereignty of Al-Haq, the truth. Today we reach the final destination of Surah Saad, in verses 86 through 88. The focus shifts from the ancient history of the Exalted Assembly and the lives of the past prophets, back to the immediate reality of the messenger. Delivering this message, we will hear the humble yet powerful declaration of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, regarding his mission. We will witness the definition of the Quran as a reminder for all the worlds and the closing prophecy regarding the manifestation of truth. This is an excavation of prophetic sincerity, the end of pretense, and the global horizon of revelation. We are closing the circle of this surah, moving from the mysterious letter Saad to the universal reminder. The prophetic disclaimer. No reward. No pretense. We begin with the fundamental clarification of the Prophet's, peace be upon him, relationship with his audience and his message. It is a moment of total transparency that separates the divine messenger from the worldly orator. Kanzul Iman Quran, Surah Saad, the letter Saad, chapter 38, verse 86. Say, O dear Prophet Muhammad, I do not ask you any wage for this conveying the Quran, nor am I of the pretenders. In this excavation, we see two essential pillars of prophethood. First, the absolute rejection of wage ajar. By declaring he asks for no money, no political power, and no social status. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, removes the hook of self-interest. In the context of Makkah, where the elite were obsessed with lineage and wealth, this was a revolutionary statement. It proved that the message was not a tool for personal gain, but a burden of divine responsibility. Metaphysically, this is the proof of the excellent slave. If the messenger is not seeking anything from the clay, the people, it means his source and his reward are entirely from the Spirit, Allah. Secondly, he rejects Takalluf, pretense, affectation, forced effort. He is not making this up to fit a trend. He is not a poet or a philosopher weaving complex theories to impress an audience. He is a clear warner delivering a great news that is already built into the fabric of reality. He is transparent, honest, and utterly free from the logic of fire that seeks to dominate or impress others through artifice. 2. The universal horizon, a reminder for all worlds, having established his sincerity. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, defines the cosmic scope of the message he carries. This is the transition from the local to the universal. Kanzul Iman Quran, Surah Saad, the letter Saad, chapter 38, verse 87. The Quran is nothing but a reminder for all the worlds. In this excavation, we analyze the term Dhikrun, lil Alamin, a reminder for all the worlds. The Quran is not a new invention or a cultural product. It is a Dhikr, calling back to what the soul already knows from the day it was breathed into the clay. It is the restoration of the primal covenant. Metaphysically, this verse shatters tribalism and nationalism. The great news is not for the Arabs alone, nor for one specific era. It is for all the worlds, Alamin. This includes the world of humans, the world of jinn, and the entire cosmic order. The Quran is the manual for the spirit in its journey. Through the clay, it is the constant echo of the Exalted Assembly, meant to wake us up from the slumber of the material world. It is the universal signal that Iblis cannot silence, reaching across dimensions and time. It is a message that belongs to the stars as much as it belongs to the earth. 3. The prophecy of realization. The arrival of knowledge. The surah concludes with a promise of future clarity. Truth does not need to be proven today for it to be true. It simply needs time to manifest its weight. Truth is its own witness, and time is the judge. Kanzul Iman Quran, Surah Saad, the letter Saad, chapter 38, verse 88. And you will surely know its news after a while. In this excavation, We see the ultimate closing statement of the surah. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, tells his detractors that they don't have to believe him now. But the news Naba will eventually be known with absolute certainty. Metaphysically, this refers to both the moment of death and the day of judgment, the end of the known time, verse 81. After a while, Badahin signifies the blink of an eye in cosmic terms. This verse is a profound comfort to the believer and a terrifying warning to the denier. It says that the great news is not a theory or a myth, it is a coming reality. Just as the sun is hidden by clouds, but will eventually be seen, the truth of this surah, the honor of the prophets, the fall of the arrogant, and the power of sincerity will become undeniable. The while is our life. The knowledge is our destination. 4. Detailed excavation, the anatomy of Takalluf, and the prophetic character to achieve our depth. We must perform a microscopic investigation into the word. Mutakallifan pretenders, affectors in verse 86. This word is the key to understanding the psychology of the excellent slave. The burden of the ego, Takalluf implies a forced, unnatural effort to appear as something one is not. It is the signature of the I that wants to be better through performance. It is the attempt to engineer a personality. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the complete antithesis of this. His message is natural, primordial, and effortless because it comes from the fitra original disposition. He is a man of clay who is perfectly aligned with the spirit. The simplicity of truth versus the complexity of lies. Falsehood requires constant maintenance, elaborate theories, and pretense to look believable. The truth is self-evident. By saying I am not a pretender, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is inviting the audience to look at his character. His life is the proof of his verse. He is the most authentic being to walk the earth, asking for nothing and giving everything. He did not need to try to be a prophet. He simply was the vessel of the divine word. The Sufi application, in our own lives, Takalluf is the primary barrier to sincerity. We pretend to be pious, wealthy, or wise to gain the approval of others. This pretense creates a fire of anxiety within the soul. The path of the mukhlis sincere is to drop the pretense, stop the performance, and return to the clay of humility where Allah's light can shine clearly. Authenticity is the only way to survive the whisper. The Quran as the Dhikr of the human spirit. We must investigate why the Quran is called a reminder Dhikr, rather than just a book kitab in this closing context. Why is memory so central to the Quranic worldview? The primal memory of the soul already witnessed the lordship of Allah before it entered the body. The Quran doesn't teach the soul something new, it makes it remember its origin. It is like a letter from home to a person who has forgotten they are traveling. The verses are not information, they are recognition. The antidote to Iblis and forgetfulness, Iblis's primary weapon, is Nisayan forgetfulness. He wants us to forget the great news. He wants us to forget that we have a spirit from Allah. The Quran is the Dhikr that cuts through the devil's fog like a lighthouse beam. It reminds us of our rank, our enemy, and our return. To recite the Quran is to perform a spiritual memory restoration, universal frequency. Because it is a reminder for all worlds, the Quran resonates with the spirit, regardless of language or culture. It is the celestial language of the Ra that bypasses the logic of the mind to touch the essence of the heart. This is why the Quran can move a soul that does not even understand. In Arabic, the spirit recognizes its own home. The metaphysics of after a while, the speed of reality, verse 88, is the time bound of truth. It establishes the temporal boundary of human choice and the inevitable victory of divine reality. The shortness of the interval. In the scale of the Exalted Assembly and the known time, a human life is merely a while. The delay is a mercy from Allah, giving us the space to realize the truth before it becomes a forced reality. We are in the waiting room of eternity. The shift from faith to sight. Today we operate in the world of belief, Iman. After death, we enter the world of knowledge, Ilm. The goal of the seeker is to attain a level of certainty, Yakin, where they know the news even before the while is over. This is what the Sufis call dying before you die, seeing the truth before the veil is officially lifted, the validation of the prophets. Every prophet mentioned in this surah from Dawood, as to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was validated after a while. Their struggles were temporary. Their honor is eternal. The while is the furnace where the gold of truth is separated from the dross of falsehood. It is the proof that patience is the companion of truth. 7. The grand synthesis of Surah Saad. A total reconstruction. As we close this surah, we must look at the cosmic architecture of the entire chapter to understand the journey we have taken. The opening mystery. We began with the letter Saad in the Quran, full of reminders. We were introduced to the great news and the pride of those who turn away. The prophetic models. We explored the lives of Dawood, Suleiman, and Ayub. They showed us that, whether we have kingdoms or diseases, the goal is to be an excellent slave who always returns to the source. The celestial drama. We went back to the beginning of time, the creation of Adam as the two hands of Allah, and the rebellion of Iblis. We learned that the conflict between pride and humility is as old as the soul. The closing sincerity. We end with the transparency of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The surah concludes by bringing the cosmic drama into the present moment, placing the responsibility of the reminder in our hands. The surah is a journey from the sign to the reality. It teaches us that the world is a stage for the dispute between the I of the ego and the one of the Creator. 8. The prophetic economics of the soul. Independence and power in verse 86. The rejection of the wage has deep implications for spiritual leadership, personal growth, and the physics of influence. The purity of the mission. A teacher who seeks a wage from people may be tempted to soften the truth to please the donors or the masses. By asking for nothing, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, maintains the mighty integrity of the message. The truth is not a commodity, it is a gift from Allah. The divine compensation, the wage of the Prophet, peace be upon him, is with Allah. This is the highest form of wealth, to be independent of the world's Ghani, through the total service of the Lord of the worlds. When you want nothing from the people, you have total power over the message. The lesson for the modern seeker. In our service to Allah, we should not look for a wage, praise, money, status from the world. If we do something for the sake of the I, we are following the logic of Iblis. If we do it for the one, we are following the path of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Sincerity is the currency of the soul. Eeks the great news verses, the common distraction. Recall verse 67. It is a great news from which you are turning away. This theme haunts the entire surah. The closing of the loop. Verse 88 completes the thought of verse 67. People are turning away now because they are distracted by the clay, the noise of the world. But you will surely know the way to the news later. The news is constant. It is our attention that is fractured. The urgency of spiritual presence. The surah ends not with a happily ever after, but with a wait and see. This creates a sense of spiritual urgency. We're living in the respite. Verse 80. Now the known time is approaching with every heartbeat. Every second is a choice to either remember or turn away. X. The world's Alamin and the unity of existence. Verse 87 expands our vision beyond our own tiny lives and immediate problems. It places us in a cosmic context. A cosmic map. The Quran is a reminder for the jinn, the angels, and every layer of existence. It is the law of the house for the entire universe. It proves that there is no secular space. Every world is under the honor of Allah. We are part of a vast interlocking assembly of spirits. The role of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He is the mercy to all the worlds. His message provides the balance that prevents the universe from descending into the chaos of the rebellious ego. Without this reminder, the worlds would lose their spiritual gravity. He is the anchor of truth in a universe of shadows. She, the excellent slave, revisited for the final time throughout the surah. We heard the phrase, Nemo Abdu, what an excellent slave. 'Tis the highest praise Allah bestows. The final masterpiece. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the ultimate excellent slave of verse 86. He is the one who asks for nothing and pretends nothing. He is the spirit-breathed clay in its most perfected and humble form. He is the standard by which all other slavery is measured. The call to the assembly. The surah ends by inviting us to join this exalted assembly of excellence. We do this by dropping our pretense and holding on to the universal reminder with both hands. To be an excellent slave is to be free from everything except Allah. 12. The sound of the letter Saad as a final echo, the surah began with a mysterious, silent letter. Now, we understand the depth of that silence. The silence of absolute truth. Sometimes the truth is beyond words, the letter Saad. Other times it is a clear warning. The surah bridges the gap between the hidden and the manifest. The silence of the beginning is the knowledge of the end. The final echo in the heart. As we finish the last verse. The sound of the Quran remains as a reminder. It is the heartbeat of the believer. The vibration of the spirit that Iblis can never touch. The letter Saad is the seal on the heart that has remembered its Lord. 13. The ethics of the prophetic mission. Authenticity over ambition, non-compulsion, and freedom. By asking for no wage, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, shows that truth should be accepted for its own intrinsic value, not through bribery or social pressure. Faith must be a choice of the heart. Total authenticity. The rejection of Takalluf is the highest ethical standard for any leader. What you see is what you get. The great news is delivered by a great character. The Prophet, peace be upon him, is the living embodiment of the verses he recites. His life is the tafsir of the Quran. 14. The final word on the conflict of Iblis. The triumph of prostration. Iblis's logic was, I am better. Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, logic is, I am a slave who asks for no wage. The contrast of the two is, one sought to rise through pride and was cast down. The other rose through prostration and was elevated to the highest rank in the heavens. Pride is the weight that pulls us down. Humility is the wing that carries us up. The outcome of the struggle, one is cursed until the day of judgment. The other is the mercy to the worlds forever. The end of the surah proves that the path of the excellent slave is the only one that leads to the beautiful return. The fire of the ego is extinguished by the light of surrender. 15. Conclusion. The living Quran and the path of return. Surah Saad is not just an ancient story of kings and demons. It is our biography. It is the map of the human condition. We are the clay, subject to the trials of life, the heaviness of matter, and the whispers of the ego. We have the spirit, capable of excellent slavery, divine intimacy, and rising above the stars. We have the reminder, the Quran, which calls us back to our true nature and our original home. We have the warner, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who shows us the way with absolute sincerity and without pretense. We have the deadline. After a while, the surah ends here, but our work begins. We must take this Dhikr and turn it into the prostration of our daily lives. We must become the mook lesson, who are untouchable by the fire of pride. The great news is here. The question is, will we remember or will we turn away? Hadith. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, I have been sent only to perfect good character, al-Mawada. This hadith perfectly excavates verse 86. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is not a pretender seeking power. He is a transformer of the human character. His wage is to see the clay of humanity refined into the spirit of excellence. If we follow his character of humility and sincerity, we are safe from the logic of Iblis forever. Character is the ultimate shield in the spiritual war. Let us now supplicate, drawing from the profound lessons of these verses, asking Allah to grant us a deeper understanding and to guide our every step. O Allah, Lord of the worlds and source of the great news, we thank you for the gift of Surah Saad and the guidance of your beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. O Allah, protect us from pretense, Takalluf, and the desire for worldly wages. Make us of your sincere slaves, whom Iblis cannot reach. Make this Quran a permanent reminder, Dhikr, that lives in our hearts and guides our hands. O Allah, let the news we realize after a while be the news of your mercy and our beautiful return to the gardens of eternity. Count us among the excellent slaves who always return to you. Do not let us be among those who turn away from the truth when it is clear. May Allah illuminate your heart and mind with the light of this divine ill. May He make your channel a beacon of guidance for all who seek spiritual clarity and truth. May your efforts be a source of immense reward, and may you be granted the highest stations of paradise. May the peace and blessings of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. May He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth, and may your work be a testament to His magnificent names, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Amin.